I just wanted to share that I keep asking questions about the difference between universal positioning and soul travel, and listening to little audio information about that. And I was shown a dream, well, not a dream, a real side experience, or even a lucid dream, to show that I am doing universal positioning, but I'm just not aware of it. And I was just shown a memory where it was very obvious that it was universal positioning, because I did not travel. I just saw what I saw without traveling millions of miles or whatever miles it was to see this particular experience. So I just wanted to say I'm thankful for bringing back the memory that I was doing universal, or I am doing universal positioning, but I just wasn't aware of it. I just thought it was something natural and normal, and how do you say, very nonchalant kind of thing. But I just didn't realize that that's what I was doing. So that, I just want to say thank you for that memory of it. Thank you.
Ramone, yes. The difference is that, again, soul travel and these other things, yes, they're a means of movement and creation,
Mm-hmm.
which you're really not moving.
Yeah.
Just have the sensations of that, okay? And so you don't want to misunderstand universal positioning either. Yeah, so the thing is that it's the doing, all right? So it's just like a job you have where you show up all the time. It's not to where you just go to the job once in a while when you feel like it, you see? So the real universal positioning is where you have your awareness there and you utilize this position to do something real with all life. So you not just settle back in your personal life thinking that, oh, I've done this or I did it or I've got this, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And so again, there is a difference because then you create simply just a mental routine about it. So it's the actual doing of it and recognizing it. See, it's recognition. Universal position is recognizing what the all is and what the all is doing. You see, it's in the doing, and this is what the real guides are doing too, is they are in the doing more so than just, oh, I had this experience and this is it or whatever, you see. So yeah, you had the experience, but it's seen through it in its actual position of doing it. So it's like looking through the paper for a job, but until you got the job, you're not doing it, even though you're looking for it. You see, and you know about jobs out there, etc., or you've done these jobs before. But just like Rebazar and all the boys, every moment, see, they're doing it, and again, that's with your intent. So you have to look at that too. So yes, this is where people don't see the whole picture. And again, through the different teachings and like Paul's stuff and all the people that are still there and whatever, they're just taking it for granted, thinking in terms that, oh, I've had experiences with Rebazar or whatever, this and that. But no, that's not it. It's in the doing, like the sun shining. When you can do it 100%, when your focus is there, that's the real universal positioning.
Okay. Yeah, I was shown all these memories, so I've been trying to use the memories like a kind of foundation to try to do it consciously with full awareness.
Well, here's the idea. What are you thinking in terms of that you got to go here or there or full awareness? Everything is now.
Yeah, there's no point. You're just seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn to be and see, and that's why you're in the physical, because you don't need to travel. You don't need anything at all, actually. It's all about awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
The memories are only a reference for your mind. They are not a reality. I want to explain this over and over because people, again, most people, they will go with the concept that, oh, I know this, I experienced it, and especially the past, because there's really no such thing as the past. What you've done is you've accumulated experiences to provide references for you to figure the reality of this out. And it is something that, you know, once you figure it out, you're going to, when you really truly recognize it, you're going to see that the personal self can't recognize it. It's something you cannot consider, so what is it? And this will reflect on the real side. Yes, you know, many people, even, you know, even Darwin and Harold, whatever, you know, they've had experiences in the real universes, but they never recognized it and they never utilized it according to what life is and what the real guides do. They went back to their personal self and decided from that point. You see, that's what makes the difference. And it's how you decide and what you do here. See, it's not about what you know. See, you gather the knowledge first, just like the spiritual exercises that Paul gave. That was the secondary light, which is information. Most people think it's the real light, and it's not. It's simply secondary light, just like the light that goes through fiber optics that equals your videos and your internet, etc. It's like a fiber optic light. It's a secondary light. And this is prevalent out there, people thinking that, oh, we're the light of this and we're the light of that, or we're the children of light. But they're just talking about information in creation, because the true reality life is light and sound is an aspect, but the reality of it is invisible and silent. And recognizing that and being able to perceive it, in other words, being able to recognize it to where you can interpret it, there's the difference. That's where you get real.
I wanted Duane to elaborate on a question I have about intent. I read something interesting that intent goes along with decisions and deciding things. And so okay, my question, in a being isness position, when you're standing with all of life, that's very literal, but for the sake of the question, when you're in that position with all of life and there is no deciding, just a seeing and being, does an intention apply? Like, does life itself have intention, or does it not decide things like that? Thank you.
Well, again, we're seeing, you're seeing from the personal self, and you need this view to compare. So in the personal self, you do decide, all right, like you're deciding now to ask the question. But once you decided and set your intent, okay, because all life is here and now. So we're all with all life. It's just what we're aware of or decide. Mainly, it's really what we decide to be aware of. Not everybody wants to be aware. Not everybody wants to become more aware. They don't want to know these things. They just want what they want. It's like little kids in the sandbox, you know. They don't want to eat lunch. They don't want to take their nap. They don't want to go to bed. They just want to play. And so that's that personal self. But the intent is very important to really continually learn to recognize your intent, because it involves everything. And you decide how that intent is set. And so we can say that, yes, the isness, the all is, decides. We'll just use that idea. But it, as it becomes more aware, it just simply is what it is. And so for us to figure out what it is and to be with it in our awareness, okay, not just that we want to be or we like it or whatever. Intent is very important to set that. It's kind of like if you're going to take a trip, you've already decided where to go. You see, it's already decided. So now what you do is you just start the trip. You start driving off, because you know you're going to end up at your destination. And so this is what it's like. This is the journey. This is the process. And so in the meantime, you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to have a lot of experiences. You're going to meet a lot of people, but your intent is set. See, that's very important to set your intent instead of just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna drive over here and see what's here, or I'm gonna, drive whatever, or drive from LA to New York without a map. I'm just gonna drive and see where I go. You really haven't set your intent, so you're gonna go through all these other things that are usually gonna take your attention, and you'll probably never get there. So the intent, and to recognize what your intent is, what your intentions are, and to have that intent is very, very important. And then you add all the other qualities that you want with this and learn to recognize those and how they apply until you are in that the position you want to be with this, and that is to where eventually you perceive this reality. So it's not about impressions anymore or anything like that. It's just an isness that you recognize. It's even better than that's what I call perceiving. You learn to interpret this reality without any means of interpretation. But in the meantime, you will use these ideas and attitudes with your intent set. So again, just like when you're on the trip, you're going to bring things along that are useful, that you're going to need. If you're going to go camping, or if you're going to go to a hotel or whatever, you're still going to bring things along. And so with you on this journey, you're also going to decide attitudes. And the most useful ones are sincerity, gratitude, honorability, being honorable. It's not about so much trusting and truth and all these things, because that's personal stuff. It's just that you learn to recognize how real, okay? So our position is real. It's not about truth, okay? These are ideas that are created here in creation, etc. So I don't refer to any of that. In the old days, it was in consciousness and all these things and attributes and whatever. Well, again, initiations, what have you. You just throw it all away, because again, it's all foo-foo right now. Because it's time. It is the new nowness for this isness, and so you learn to recognize how to do that. And this is where I saw that many decades ago, as I came into this position, that I saw that people didn't recognize their intent. They were just literalized with their mind, thinking this or that, and that's fine. That's a position, but that's not all there is. And actually, a lot of it didn't even entail or engage the intuition. And so the intuitive part is very important to gain insight, to recognize your real awareness. And from there, you make that decision. Once you recognize your real awareness, you make that decision with your intent to decide to stand real with all life. That's a real purpose. Okay, so you have a purpose at first. And then a real purpose is to totally stand real, where that personal self is just gone. You don't need the personal self. You are all awareness, and you be with what life is. And all life is only interested in one true reality, and that is survival. Surviving, completely and wonderfully real. That's so cool. We're here, we do survive, but we struggle. It's a struggling survival. We're always dealing with things that bother us, affect us, and others also that are knuckleheads that bother us, affect us, and try to destroy us, etc. So, yeah, but that intent, you learn to recognize that too, and how that applies to everything, this isness that you're already in. And see, this is the cool position that we have, that you realize now, and you have the references to, and that is, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't even have to go to the so-called real side or whatever. It all becomes an isness to be recognized, and it's everything. So once you have that, once you start recognizing this reality, and this is the position that Paul spoke about, the so-called God consciousness or whatever, that's really what it referred to, but more so now, and that's UP, universal positioning, to where you're already there, everywhere. Even though the personal self is not aware of it, is it important to be aware of it? So again, you decide that. So here I am here with the body in Mexico and the 5 bodies doing whatever, But the real awareness can be everywhere with everyone, because that's where my attention is, to share how to recognize this reality. So this reality supports me to where my awareness is everywhere, and people can experience that too, according to what I'm referring to. And that all starts off with your intent, young man. So you got to figure that out.